Hey everybody, it's Andy Kirschner with The Wedding Biz, in which I conduct in-depth and revealing interviews of icons and those who I feel are the next generation icons of the weddings and event industry. If you missed last week's episode, it was with planner-designer Joanne Grigoli, who talks with me about how music can make or break a party, a topic close to my heart since music and entertainment is what I do, in addition to hosting The Wedding Biz. And today's guest, this is a real special one for me, this is Mauricio Kirschner. He is the founder and chief designer of House of Kirschner, where he does many things, including out-of-this-world interior design and event design. They are also professional architects, which enables them to design and produce unique constructions and designware for beyond the usual. This was an amazing interview. We learn about Mauricio's childhood passion for construction, structure, and architecture, and how he started his career as an architect and then got pulled into the event industry. And he quickly goes deep into the heart of what event design is really about for him and describes it in ways I've never heard before. We hear the unique way in which he starts his creative meetings. We hear all about what inspires him, including his perspective on fashion and so much more. Mauricio obviously loves what he does and is the definition of an icon. And be sure to check out both his personal Instagram page, which is at Mauricio Kirschner with 900,000 followers, and also House of Kirschner with 400,000 followers, as well as his website to get a glimpse into his world. Enjoy this conversation with Mauricio Kirschner. Mauricio, it's just such a pleasure to have you on. What I want to start by asking you is that if we were at a cocktail party and we had never met before and I didn't know who you were, how would you describe what you do?
I would describe it as architect of dreams. I think that is actually what we do. Is like we are a company, like a multidisciplinary company that it's focused like in. Also, we have like a talent that does like a radial specialized, like in a radial disciplinary way, because we have like architects, designers, engineers, people that is focused like only on music, cooks. Designers, so like a multidisciplinary team that it's focused like in very specialized areas. And what we do with all this talent is also we do like a curation of the best creative directors around the globe to create an architecture of a dream that it can be either in design, architecture, or experience. No, also that is a bit how we call it.
So it's not just the structures, but you're doing everything. The floral design, the dance floors, if it's, let's say it's a wedding, everything. Okay, I understand.
Even like how they're going to be dressed, all the family, the bride. Also, we work like with the best, not only designers, but also with the stylists around the globe, that they can bring like the best of everything, you know, like hair, makeup, jewelry. Also, this is like in the area of the experience design, but then we also do like the architecture and interior design. So we do the same in every project we do.
Wow. So you do it all. So I want to ask if, I read somewhere, I want to go back in time. I read somewhere that as a child, your main version of play was to design spaces by drawing them in your notebooks. Is that true when you were just little?
Yes. So when I was in school, instead of doing like, also like being focused on the class, I was doing either labyrinths or designing spaces, but I really didn't understand what I was doing because I used to live in a golf course, also like in a country club. It's like open, like you could go everywhere and like instead of going to play to the football field or whatever, I used to go into constructions and go into the houses, and I was there like all day long just watching how they were, like doing the construction of the spaces.
That's so interesting to me. There's a lot of people I've interviewed over the years who somehow when they were children or a little bit older had a passion for some aspect of what they do today. Isn't it interesting? Like, where does that come from? I mean, did either of your parents, were they involved at all in architecture?
No one. Also, really, like in my family, also in my past, like from my grandparents, uncles, aunts, and generations back, really, like no one has done anything in design or architecture. So I think for sure maybe I have it from another life, but not Also, in my genealogical like three, no one.
You know, it's interesting. I used to have a mentor because I have a music company, and I used to have a mentor in the music industry long ago who said to me, he believed in that too. He would say, like, how does Michael Jackson sing the way he sang at the age of 7? Or how did Mozart play the way he played at 5? You know, he felt the same thing, that somehow in some way we had done this before. So you're doing this as a child. Did you go to school for what? Did you go to school for architecture? Is that what I understand?
Yes, I studied architecture and then also like interior design, some courses like in landscape, lighting design, and everything. But and then I started my company as an architect, and then I did like houses, buildings, even like a hospital. But then, by an coincidence or accident, I was pulled into doing like an event for some friends that I was doing their house. And it was like at that moment, I didn't want to go into this because I knew, like, I had close friends that were doing this for a living, and they were like the best ones where I'm from. But at the end, like their life was very complex, like I was seeing like this path was not bringing them to their higher self. So for me, I was like, I don't want to go into this because I'm seeing this situation, and at the end, it's amazing to see their work and everything, but like to work 24/7 throughout the whole year, and so it was not like elevating them. So I was like, I don't want to go get into this. But when they told me, please do it as a favor, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this one, but I don't really want to follow this path. And then I was like pulled in, like Alice in Wonderland. Like when I say yes, it was like a field open of energy, and like 18 families called me, like in 3 months, and they were like, "No, I cannot believe you are doing this. You have to do this for our daughters." Or some friends were also like, I was like 26, so a lot of people that I knew in that moment were getting engaged or doing like mostly it was weddings. And so I got hired by 18 families before doing the first one. And then, time passed by because you plan this with 3, 6 months, 8 months in advance. And it was 1st of March when I did the first one. And then by around July, I had done like 23 events.
So it sounds like you fell in love with it.
Yes, when I entered the first one, I was like, like, and it was more simple because, of course, the budgets were very different.
Right.
But there was magic, it was like also like very immersive. There was an experience. There was like storytelling going on. There was a string that was pulling everyone in. Like I think I have like this magic. I was talking with the girl that is doing now the new exhibition at our gallery, and in a conversation she told me like alchemy is doing this, and also like one of the people I work, like one of my shamans and everything, was telling me like you're a true alchemist. Like everything you touch, you pull it into an immersive way of how you see life. And at the end, you bring people, into a dimension where they can dream. But it's not only about like aesthetic or visual experience. It's more like an immersive experience that is pulling you. For me, it's like getting into another field and just opening portals, like how we design an event and how I have teach my team to work. It's they're great designers and architects, but it's also like putting an intention, like the entrance. It's a portal to bring you into a fantasy world where you can leave everything behind, and where that energy cannot enter our field. But when you come into our universe, everything is happiness. And that's why we can have like all this talent playing in this field at the same time, because what we want is to bring people into a dimension where everything is love, happiness, like just enjoying moments, and really like forgetting about everything that it's out there. And at the end, when they enter our spaces, they tell us like it feels different, like even now in my offices, when people go in, they say like, or my house, or they say like, what's going on here? Like it feels peaceful, relaxed, like And that is what we want, to bring people into to live the matrix, or to live like the world where they have so many boundaries, a certain education, how they have to act, and then they come to this field where everything is possible, and it's a playground, and we are here. This is how I actually see the universe, or how I actually see how we're living in this timeline, in this planet.
Well, what is your process for doing this? I mean, I want to stick with weddings. I know you do more than that as well.
Yes.
But when it comes to weddings, what is how do you get inspired to come up with, to create, these immersive experiences? Do you have a particular way that is the same?
Yes. So we have a department that is in charge of analyzing the clients, because we have so many inquiries. So at the beginning, it's just understanding that we are the right fit for the clients, or for the couple, but that they are also the right fit for us. That at the end, we want to dream big. We want to go out completely out of the box. We want to do perform. So for me, it's what I want me and my team is to perform in a field in the most beautiful and magical way, but also for them. So it's a gift for them, and it's a gift for us. So what I tell my clients is we are mirrors, and at the end, I need them to see my dream, but they also need me to see their dream. So at the end, we're on the same field playing, but we're in front of one another. So when we understand we are there, and that we are one, and we are playing on the same side of the field, then we have a meeting with a team that we assign for that project, that it's made by a team of administration. Then they have an engineer. In their team, they will have also an architect, also a designer of the space. Then there is a producer, and then we have a lot of in-house areas in the company, that is the floral area, the structure and design of all these installations. So we have a meeting with the whole team, and it's 2 hours or 4 hours. I don't know, it can be as long as we want. So it's just getting in a space. We usually decide all these meetings are, if we're only in different parts, because it can be a Zoom, but if we are in the same part, we're in the scouting, or if we are at the office, we choose the most beautiful area, and we are in a living area, just chilling and talking, about life, what they love, how they met, what are their passions, what kind of music they like, where they like to travel, if they like to go to Ibiza and to Mykonos and maybe to Burning Man, or if maybe they like more Capri, or and their style is more so we really try to get and penetrate into their field, just to start to understand, because every human is a universe.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
This is what we need to start to understand, who are they, what they love, how they like to sense the spaces and everything. So after we enter this field, we start to bring down information.
Can I stop for a moment?
Yes.
Mauricio, can I stop? So while you're meeting with them and you're having this initial meeting, are you already getting, in a sense, visions in your mind about what you're seeing?
Yes.
Do you discuss it with them, or do you wait? How do you handle that?
I start to put everything in the table, and I get very, very excited. And I study semiology, and all of my company, we have to study semiology. And then we're also in a process of therapy within semiology. So semiology is the study of the symbols. And semiology can study everything. There is semiology of a hospital. There can be semiology of tradition, or an ancient culture. But we study semiology of humankind living in the 21st century. So at the end, you start to really understand personalities. So that's how we start to bring down all the information. But at the same time, we are putting our side, our ideas or creativity on the table, and we're having an exchange of information in every single direction. So that the architects will start to bring information down, what they need, but also administration, also the producer, also like every area of the team is just asking them, like, you like this, you like that. We're showing pictures, we're showing photographers, designers. We're talking like about like all this, like everything you can imagine.
So you're meeting with them with the entire team, or is it just you?
Yes. O sea, in our first meeting, once they decide to work with us and we are gonna jump into this experience, is with all the team.
I see. Interesting. All right. And then you go back with your team, I'm assuming, and that's when, and you start coming up with the concepts.
So after this, everybody keeps their information, and we have, it's like around 6 weeks to present the project. So in these 6 weeks, every area is going to lock down like what they need to lock down. For example, producer has to lock down venues, caterings, all the external vendors, all the talent, who's going to perform the ceremony. So the focus of the producer is going to be this area. Then the designers, of course, they're going to start designing everything. Then our area of sales has to lock down all the contracts. So everybody's working on their field, and I am trying, like just to put in like all the ideas that we went through on the presentation, and then I'm doing follow up with every area. Like we have weekly meetings in the office, Monday and Friday, to start the week and to close the week. In those weekly meetings, we go through a meditation, then we go through a process of learning something new.
Okay, this is interesting. Can I stop again? Because I'm so interested with everything you're telling me. So you start with a meditation with your team.
Yes.
To put everybody into a certain creative zone?
Yes, it's to connect us, because at the end, our meditations are more like to ground ourselves, to go to zero, to start from scratch, but also at the end to be able to bring the information down, and to put it like into reality.
And I imagine also to connect, to kind of bond your team together with each other on each project, right? It pulls them together and grounds you.
Yes.
That is fascinating.
The idea is so like for me, now that I am in practice, because the idea is to try to live in a constant meditation, but at least to get to this point many times a day. I don't know how many times my team does it, but at least they have to do it Monday and Friday
right, together
at 10 a.m. And then we have yoga at 2:15 p.m. So when they do also when all the team is doing like at the end of the practice, like Savasana, so at the end they are going into this state of meditation, and I like to do it at that point of the day. I have like a lot of friends that practice, and they are like Ashtanga people that do it for many years. They tell me I do morning and night, but for me, I tell them to do it in the middle of the day, because you start in a rush.
Yes.
And to do it in the middle of the day, it's like, okay, you go back to zero again. And I tell them, like, it's just movements. Everybody can do whatever they want. If you just want to relax, they're relaxing, because I understand some people can be more flexible, or they can be more, like, they can have a better practice. But at the end, the idea is not the practice. For me, it's more like getting yourself to zero.
Wow, this is absolutely fascinating. I love it. I want to make sure that you're aware of two other shows that are on the Wedding Biz Network. First, The Business of Being Creative, hosted by founder and president of The Business of Being Creative, Sean Lowe. Sean's consulting firm is focused on providing practical advice to those in the business of being creative. Tune in every Tuesday to hear a new episode chock full of topics and advice for creative businesses. Also, check out the 2 seasons of Stop and Smell the Roses, hosted by the one and only lifestyle and event design expert, Preston Bailey. Preston speaks with such an honest voice. I know you're going to thoroughly enjoy hearing him on this unique platform. You can find both shows at theweddingbiznetwork.com or on your cell phone's podcast app for both The Business of Being Creative and Stop and Smell the Roses. So I want to go in that direction with you in terms of what really inspires you. Like for me, just recently, I just spent a month in Maui, and my experience of connecting with the majestic nature of the island and with several of the people who I was connecting with. It was all so inspiring. I've come back so invigorated. I'm so excited again. I needed that. What do you do to inspire yourself?
Also, for me, it's a lot like in my own world, it's like yoga, meditation, then also trying to learn something new every day, having like a life where you're feeling that you're like a radiance of like wellness 360 degrees from within to without, but also like traveling, listening to music, learning something new every day. But what inspires me a lot is people, like other lives, like at the end also like the clients, like getting to know them, what are their dreams, how they live their lives, and also the work of other people, like other creative directors, or also like that's why I feel that like the reach we propose is I work a lot with other companies that do events, and sometimes they have hired us, and I see like the ego that is what moves sometimes the humans. It's at the end what kills you, and when you don't allow others to create, to put like something in the table, because at the end our creativity is limited, but by only what we can think or propose. But when you're allowing a group of 6, 10, 50, 100, and I always tell my vendors, like, you are the expert in lighting and sound system. I can ask you for something, but I need you to tell me what is amazing, what is good, what is like the best. Like, for example, this next weekend we're using a new company that is the best in the country. So I was going to tell them, do this, do that, and I was like, don't tell them anything. You already put them the project into their hands. You have had 20 meetings. At the end, you have to allow them to perform and also to see what they can offer. Also, I'm talking, we work with the best in the planet. No, I'm not saying like, if you are going to work with someone that doesn't have the capacity, allow them to do whatever they want. No, but if this person has the most important company, why do you want to direct him? He should direct you in his direction of what he's putting in the table. Of course, the lighting is not going to direct the cook, but what am I going to tell the cook about like
Right.
the catering?
Right.
So I feel it's also like killing your ego, and it's a process that I have been going through for the past like 6-7 years, and understanding that yes, you have a talent, yes, you are a great human, yes, you have like a lot of things that are amazing, but you're limited, and you cannot understand or believe that you have the whole truth. So it's also like an exchange of information, and understanding that we are all one. We are all the same. It's like an interconnectivity with the field. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like this is how we're working. And at the end, we're dreaming in a collective matter. And we're living also in a collective way. And it's just understanding that we're all in for the same purpose. And if someone can really bring in something in the table that it's amazing, then you should allow them to do it.
Also, all of this is so interesting to me. Also, coming back to what specifically inspires you, I understand that you have a great passion for fashion. And somewhere I read that you said the fashion industry seems to help create awareness and bring tolerance. I thought that was interesting, to bring awareness, to create awareness. What were you referring to in terms of fashion?
I was in Fashion Week now in January in Paris, and I was walking in the street, and there was like like in all the shows, there was like people from all different ethnicities. Like in the Armani show, it was like a lot of people from Asia doing the show, but like the eyes, they had them like amazingly, like done with makeup, and then you see people from all over the world, like from Africa, maybe they are Parisian or maybe they are from New York, but at the end, like also Tyra Banks that did the Super Kid show, that it's a new designer of Vuitton. She was saying, when like I was 16 years old and I was in New York trying to work, and my ass was too black for it was a comedy show for America. So I came to Paris, and at the end I understand all the worlds have different sides, no? And there is light and dark, and in this planet there is day and light. So we're gonna experience this throughout our life, 24/7, because at the end this is the experience we're living in this place. But at the end, I also see another side of fashion where back in the days, like homosexuality or so, like being gay, dressing however you want, expressing yourself however you want to express yourself, radial self-expression, and having in a cover of a magazine. Even if you see like now Vogue Arabia, that let's say Arabic countries are the more close, but if you see Arabic area, they have also all the ethnicities in the magazine. Even if like maybe in some of the countries it's not allowed to be gay or like a woman, you can see it, printed there in images. Maybe it's not in text, but at the end, all of that at the end is also opening the world for more tolerance and for awareness in a different way. O sea, of course, it can seem like sometimes it's very superficial, but it has another side of the picture. And right now, also talking about portals and everything that we're seeing, and like my lesson in like starting this year, it's also that all the possibilities are on the field. Like all the possibilities are in our life. Life is not black or white or black and white. It's everything. So you can tell me, no, if you do this, it's going to kill you. This is bad for your health. This is terrible for your brain. And of course, if you read an article and you go to scientists and everything, you can prove to me that fact is a reality. But I can believe in the other side of the coin or the other face of the experience. And I can tell you, no, doing this and being this way, it expands yourself, it creates awareness, it's going to elevate you, it's going to make you more creative, it's going to make you happy because it's the path you have to follow. And at the end, I can prove to you that what I'm saying is the right thing with scientific facts, religious, and everything. So at the end, everything is possible. We are in this planet, but we choose which side of the face we want to see in everything. 24 hours, 365 days a year. So at the end is just understanding this part, and of course in fashion or in every way, in everything that is going on in life, you can choose to see awareness and consciousness and see the side of fashion that is this. And I was telling this to a friend and she was saying, no, but it also produces anorexic and feeling you insecure. Well, that's the side of fashion you choose to see. The side of fashion that Mauricio Kirschner chooses to see is awareness, consciousness. Imagine like back in the days in the 60s or when Chanel was, Coco Chanel was doing her collections and all the women were dressed in these like 19th century gals. And she said, no, we're going to do suits. And the woman started, it also helps evolving like humanity, So you can choose to see that, or you can choose to see the other side. No, people in fashion get high and they are very liberal and they or just expose their body. Well, everybody chooses whatever they want,
It's interesting to me, your perspective on this. I mean, I'm working so hard just personally on my perspective of the world. And it does seem that, I mean, obviously how we frame it, it's like a light switch, right? If we could just be open and just see it in that way that you're talking about, what I'm hearing is that this is what really grounds you and inspires you and allows you to, create dreams and come up with things that have never been done before, maybe that you've never done before, is to stay grounded in that way.
Exactly. Sí, o sea, I like through the process you have been going through, I have been going through also for the past like many, many years. I feel that the real purpose, in life, it's that one. And at the end, like, and that's what we want, like to be grounded, to also like when we breathe, to breathe and contain the whole world in our breath, like bring it in, soak it in, like live the experience of being alive and like connecting to the energy, to the nature, so to everything. And I feel, and this is what we are here for. And I always tell like my team, and I had told like my CEO and everyone, like House of Kirschner is not a company that designs architecture, interior design, and let's say experiences. House of Kirschner is a company that is decantating or like opening like the souls of the team throughout. So for me, my company is a company where the people that is working in the company, it's a space where we are becoming very humans, where we are exploring our talents, where we came to understand that we are connected to a field that is the whole universe, and that we have to pull out of it the best to grow, to be better, to create more, but also to be better humans, to do a domino effect in wellness, in love, in expansion. So that is the purpose of my company in this planet, by doing architecture, interior design, and life experiences, or let's call it events. But we are, the purpose is another one. My purpose is like, but imagine that this we can transfer to the whole world. And the owner of Walmart and the people that is doing iron cable or whatever, they say, okay, the purpose in life is to grow, to create better humans, to create an environment where people can expand their senses, where they can be them, where they can be grounded, where they can feel love throughout selling telephone, throughout selling clothing. Then it becomes deep, then it becomes substance. The project has a soul. The project has life.
You know what's interesting to me, Mauricio, with everything you're talking about, it's interesting to me that, like, I admit for myself, I'm doing all this self-work, similar to what we're talking about for myself. I don't talk about it with my team. And you're making me think about this very differently, because you're bringing this, your own personal way of seeing the world and your beliefs. You're sharing this with your team, which is very interesting. That this is also a huge part of the core, it sounds like, of your philosophy, and you share it with your team. That's interesting to me.
And also, like, for example, when I started, let's say I was obsessed with semiology, and I was obsessed with all this type of like therapy and learning about how humans act, why the way they act in a certain way, how we are, like constructed, everything that is in our field because of education, traditions, and everything, and how we can break up with this, and evolve. So when I started to give this to my team, the growth of the company started to grow, but it was like 400% per month. And then it's like you're doing quantic jumps, because at the end, a quantic jump is just, like the energy jumps, but it's like if you're going from planet Earth to Jupiter, from Jupiter to Mars, and then from Mars to another galaxy, and from another galaxy to 10,000 years of galaxies. You start to grow in a way that it's millimetrical per second, but it's, like if you're navigating the world in another dimension, because when it's like you now are in a path, but it's you. Imagine if it's your whole team, and then your whole community, your friends, your family. It's like everything around you, like, like just elevating and getting elevated, and you have a dream. And of course, you share a dream with your team, and then everybody has their own dreams. But the dream that is shared is not the same to have 10 heads, 20 heads, 8 heads, 100 heads, thinking the same at the same time, and wanted to pull it in. Because, of course, everybody wants to have the dream because they have another dream, no? They want the company to go good because maybe they want to have more vacations, and they want the company to go good because maybe they want to have a better car. But, it's then like, and it's crazy how everything starts to explode and to grow and to evolve in a way that you couldn't even think it was possible. Like that, when the new CEO of my company entered, he was working in Walmart. So his whole life, 40 years of work or 50 years of work, were in another field. So he was telling me, no, I love creativity and I love, like music. And I was saying like, no, what I love, it's that you have order structure, you know how to buy millions of products to deliver to the whole world. So I wanted, like structure, and he wanted it was like an exchange. And he was telling me, how do you get your clients? And I was like, I don't know. So they come and they come, like the mails come in every single language, in all the languages or like typology of letters and that you can imagine. And it's like if you're but pulling the energy, but at the end, when my team started to get into this, and now I'm putting them into more and more and more and more, and I'm trying to share the new things that I'm learning, what is good. And it's like if we are a community And it really it's evolving together. And then everything comes like if you're in the Catarata of Niagara waterfall, coming like in an abundance that you cannot even imagine, that you cannot contain, because you are opening another field of energy.
Wow. I love your philosophy. I'm kind of blown away here because I'm thinking about how I can apply this in my own business, because it makes so much sense to me. And when you talk about the kind of clients that you have, obviously they're being attracted to you in ways we can't explain. Some kind of universal spirit is bringing you all together. I can see that, and probably even your team. Well, God, Mauricio, I could talk to you for hours. I want to ask you, what do you dream about designing that you have not done yet? Do you have some kind of a dream? How do you feel about that?
In terms of like the events, I or the weddings or these life experiences, I really want to do like, also for me, my passion is architecture. So this is what we're doing right now. Like if you're also like creating spaces that look like super architectural, but that they are like, if you're in an NFT, or in this virtual reality where everything is possible. Because when people design, like architects, a space, you are thinking in so many things that, like security, budget, if it's a possibility to make it done. So when you see virtual reality like NFTs or this kind of art, you can do whatever you want, because the universe, like everything can be levitating. At the end, you don't have to think in a structure, because at the end it can be like more surreal than real. So I want to bring people like into this surreal type of architecture, because at the end I also want to like show the world that this is how we live in House of Kirschner. This is how we think. This is our universe, and in our universe, there is no sadness. We think it as emotional intelligence, and you can connect with an emotion, but it's not how life it's lived. It's different, like to be in a depression than to say, I am sad now because this happened, or I am learning this through my divorce, but I'm growing and I am making myself better. And yes, I can cry for 2 hours in a day. So throughout architecture and throughout the design of spaces, I want to bring people into this surreal reality, but to make them understand that is the reality. We can jump out of the matrix, or we can jump out of the structure of the world and go into this other world, which is the real world. It's not the soap opera situation. And I'm doing it with my team. Like I am trying to teach them we're doing so many courses. We are going through so many like shamans, also like people that have beautiful philosophies or amazing courses, and really starting to break that diaphragma first of my small like tribe. But I know they are doing a domino effect. Like a lot of employees tell me, my kid is doing semiology. They are doing this therapy. I brought them to this energy thing. They went to this awareness community projects for a weekend. And I say this is a domino effect, because we're a small crowd, but now we are 40 or 50, and then they are giving it to their friends and family. And this is how it starts, and I feel that is what we want to make people feel, throughout our creativity.
Wow. This has been absolutely fascinating. I am so personally interested in everything that you're talking about. I'm going to have to listen back to this conversation again, because I want to soak it up, because I am so interested in this. And like you were saying earlier, I am really working hard on myself in this matter, and to actually apply it directly with the team and share it. I love that. But anyway, there's been so much in this. I just really appreciate your time, Mauricio. I love your work. I can't thank you enough for coming on to the show. And I know this is just a small snapshot, and I'll probably want to have you on again, so we can talk deeper and go further.
After this one, whatever you bring comes to you, you can write it down, and then we do another one, like the sequel on everything that came to our mind.
I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for listening to my conversation with Mauricio Kirschner. If you enjoyed this episode, please think of 3 friends who you can share this with. And also check out the website, which is houseofkirschner.com, and his social media handles, House of Kirschner, and also Mauricio Kirschner. You can get all of this information in the show notes with event pics that our guests provided in your cell phone's podcast app or at our website of theweddingbiz.com. And I want to mention next week's guest, and that's going to be Barbie Walters, founder and principal owner of Linden Lane. And finally, be sure to subscribe to the Wedding Biz podcast so that you know whenever a new episode drops. Follow us at The Wedding Biz, and we'll catch you next week.